Hi, Gene here with today's thought. In today's thought, we're going to talk about politics, specifically the election 2024, and even more specifically the Biden re-election campaign, which is, well, let me put up these poll numbers for you. Let me start with that. This is a Real Clear Politics website. They track the most recent polls, and then they compute an average. Now, you can see at the top there that Trump is ahead in the average. But you can also see, you look at those polls, 12 polls, one of them is tied, Biden leads in 2, and the other 9, Trump is ahead, way ahead in one of them, 6 points ahead, and that's one of the more recent ones. And we'll see what happens going forward. If the time comes when all 12 of the most recent polls show Trump ahead, you will definitely hear about it from me. I do poll updates anyway. But what I want to talk about today is, well, you saw the movie Back to the Future, and that's what I am thinking might be happening, or that's what I thought of when I saw a story that I'm going to share with you in a minute, an article, and I'm going to show you a video. But this is probably before all of you, or most of you, at least, or many of you watching this were even born, 1968. But next year, the Democrats will be holding their nominating convention, and they'll be holding it in Chicago. 1968, they held the nominating convention in Chicago, and this was at the height of the Vietnam War. A lot of anti-war. The left was really up in arms, and there was there was a terrible riot outside of all over Chicago actually, but outside the convention hall, outside the hotel where the Democratic National Committee had their headquarters, and you can see in this photo what's happening. That's how bad. That's just one photo, but you can see the police really cracking down. I'm not going to bother to check, but I believe the National Guard I'm not so sure about the National Guard, but you had the police out there in droves. You had it was just chaos, because at the time you could watch the news. It was on TV every night. It wasn't like today where we have a mainstream media and fortunately other media, the internet and talk radio, to show what the mainstream media tries to bury, or try to bury, so we'll see what happens this time, because now the media we have today, I wouldn't put it past them to try to bury the news that may happen at that convention coming up, and that's what I want to share with you right now. Because, well, let me give you the headline. If you think you're going to have a peaceful Democratic convention while our people are starving, stay tuned. Black Chicago residents issue warning to Democrats and Biden. And you see parentheses video. I'm going to show you the video, but Black Chicagoans are very, very angry at their mayor, who, by the way, is black. But they're accusing him of, well, it's not an accusation, it's an actual fact. You can read the news and watch, but that this mayor, but we'll just say is accusing the mayor of putting unlawful aliens ahead of American citizens, specifically black Americans in Chicago. And they are up, you just saw that headline, they are threatening trouble if the mayor doesn't reverse course. Maybe the mayor will reverse course, but they are threatening, from what I take from that, at least potentially threatening to repeat what happened in 1968.
You don't hear any other community talking this plural talk.
That's right.
They strictly speak for themselves.
You got to.
The Chinese in Chinatown speak for Chinese, right?
Right.
The Greeks in Greek towns speak for Greeks.
Right.
The Hispanics in Little Village speak for Hispanics.
That's right.
Rightfully so. And black people speak for black people.
Oh, yes, sir.
Black Americans.
Yes, sir.
We're not African American. We're not people of color. We're not black and brown, minority.
That's right.
BIPOC. None of that. People, no, none of that. This is about our people demanding the resources, just as you're giving these people, these newcomers who are walking into this country.
You're right. Thank
And
you.
sister's correct. How do you take a new group of people that have paid no taxes, can't vote, and you put them in front of the voters?
I'm not gonna pay them no damn taxes.
And so we say this to you, Mayor, Governor, President. If you think that they're that powerful that you have to acquiesce and answer to them over us, then you tell them to vote for you in these next elections.
That's
You
right.
tell them to support your Democratic National Convention. And we're going to show you how we feel about the Democratic National Convention.
Turn it out.
Thank you.
If you think you're going to have a peaceful Democratic National Convention in the city of Chicago while our people are starving,
That's right.
stay tuned.
And if that happens, then just as it happened in 1968, that was a close election, Nixon-Humphrey. That was 68. That was a very close election. And with those riots were happening, and then Nixon ran on he really pushed the issue of law and order and the silent majority, but very strongly law and order, and there's no doubt in my mind that helped turn the election for Nixon, and Nixon won. And I don't see how a similar riot next year outside the Democratic National Committee and outside the hotel where the DNC has its headquarters and all over Chicago, because in 68 it wasn't just outside the convention hall. They were just chaos in the streets, and the police, well, you see that photo, you saw that photo. So if that happens next year, and as I said in the title to the today's thought, that's another nail in the Biden coffin, because it looks like a coffin right now to me, given those poll numbers that I just showed you. Of course, as they say, anything a week or a day or whatever the heck it is a lifetime in politics. But as we sit here today, if it could be very bad. Let's just say that if what happened, and never mind the harm of the riot to the city of Chicago. Going back to 68, you had the rioting in the streets, but I don't recall the kind of destruction that we saw in the Black Lives Matter riots, where they were torching stores and breaking windows. I don't remember that. I remember just chaos in the streets, protesters, but not doing the kind of damage to property that I predict. Well, that happened in the Black Lives Matter riots, and that potentially could happen in 2024. And this time, with all the alternative media we have, I don't know how the press buries ABC, NBC, CBS, and the New York Times and the Washington Post. I don't see how they bury this story. It's just going to be really big. And that's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.